This soil was completely dead, it was compacted, cracked, and lifeless. There were no worms, no roots could penetrate it, and it had lost that rich, earthy smell of life. For years I felt like I'd failed as a gardener, that I'd ruined this patch of earth for good. But then, I discovered a simple, homemade mix that I poured onto this lifeless dirt. The result was astonishing. Within just 3 days, thousands of worms appeared, signaling a dramatic revival. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what I used, explain the science behind why it works so effectively, and guide you on how you can bring your own soil back from the brink, just like I did. You see, dead soil isn't just dry, it's biologically empty. Think of it like an abandoned city. When the food supply, which is organic matter, runs out, the microscopic life, the bacteria and fungi, disappears. Without them, the larger inhabitants like worms move out. Roots can't get the nutrients they need, and the entire structure collapses into lifeless dust. What most gardeners miss is that soil health begins with this invisible workforce. You can't just water it back to life. That's like trying to revive a ghost town by just turning on the taps. You have to bring back the residents by providing food. You have to feed the soil itself. The incredible mix I used isn't a synthetic fertilizer or a harsh chemical. It's a living, breathing brew, often called a compost tea. The base recipe is incredibly simple. Just water, a small amount of unsulfured molasses, and a source of microbes like finished compost or worm castings. That's the core of it. The molasses acts as a fast-acting energy source, a sugary snack that wakes up the dormant microbes and encourages them to multiply rapidly. The compost or castings inoculate the brew with a diverse population of beneficial bacteria and fungi. So, when you pour this on your soil, you're not directly feeding your plants, you're reintroducing and feeding the microscopic life that will, in turn, feed them. Here's where the magic happens. As these newly energized microbes begin to feast and multiply, their metabolic activity releases gentle warmth and carbon dioxide into the soil. For earthworms, these are unmistakable signals, like a dinner bell ringing underground. They are drawn to these pockets of intense biological activity, moving up from deeper layers or migrating from nearby areas in search of the feast. Within days, your soil transforms from a sterile medium into a bustling, living community. The worms consume the microbes, and their castings, what gardeners call black gold, become a perfectly balanced, nutrient-rich fertilizer. The cycle of life restarts, all naturally. To make this revival brew, start with 1 gallon of dechlorinated water. The easiest way to dechlorinate tap water is to simply let it sit out in an open container for 24 hours, which allows the chlorine to evaporate. Then, add 1 cup of high-quality, finished compost or worm castings. Next, stir in 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses. It's important to use unsulfured, as sulfur can inhibit microbial growth. For an extra boost, you can add a pinch of kelp meal for trace minerals, but that's entirely optional. Stir everything together thoroughly, then let the mixture sit for a few hours, ideally in a warm, shaded spot. This resting period gives the microbes time to wake up and multiply. When you're ready to apply it, do so in the late afternoon or on an overcast day to protect the microbes from harsh UV rays. Pour the brew gently and evenly over your soil, focusing on the root zones of your plants. The goal is to make the soil evenly moist, like a wrung-out sponge, not a soggy swamp. After you apply it, it's crucial to avoid using any synthetic chemicals, as they will kill the very life you just introduced. You're not just watering, you're nurturing a fragile, living ecosystem now. Within 3 days, I started noticing the first signs of success. Tiny white fungal threads, called mycelium, started weaving through the topper. And then, the main event, worms. They emerged from deep within the soil, aerating it as they moved, creating channels for air and water. That rich, earthy smell of a healthy forest floor returned. Every handful of soil I picked up felt lighter, looked darker, and was visibly teeming with life again. Once the worms return, the key is to make them want to stay. You need to keep them fed. The best way is to add thin layers of organic matter to the surface every few weeks. Things like leaf mold, more compost, or even leftover cooked rice work wonderfully. Critically, avoid turning or tilling the soil. The worms and microbes are the master builders. They create a stable soil structure naturally. Let them do their work. Keep the soil consistently moist and shaded with mulch, and they'll stay, multiply, and work for you non-stop beneath the surface. After just a few weeks of this treatment, this once-dead garden bed transformed into the most fertile, productive soil I've ever had. The surface is now covered in a fine layer of worm castings. Plant roots are diving deeper than ever before, and my plants are growing stronger and healthier with almost no additional fertilizer. It's not magic. It's simply what happens when we stop interfering and allow nature to heal itself. A few words of caution. Don't overdo it. Applying too much liquid, too often, can saturate the soil, pushing out the oxygen that aerobic microbes and worms need to breathe. A light application once every 2 to 4 weeks is plenty. Always avoid chlorinated tap water, as chlorine is designed to kill microbes. If your water is treated with chloramine, which doesn't evaporate, you'll need a carbon filter to remove it, and never ever combine this living brew with chemical fertilizers or pesticides. They are counterproductive and will undo all your hard work. The first time I dug into this revived soil with a trowel, the difference was night and day. The tool slid in effortlessly. The soil was soft, crumbly, and full of worms. It smelled like a healthy forest floor after a spring rain. This is the definition of living soil, aerated, fertile, and self-sustaining. The worms are nature's master gardeners, and once you invite them back, everything changes, both above and below the ground. So if your garden feels lifeless and your soil is hard as a rock, please don't give up hope. You have the power to change it. Pour life back into your soil, literally. Feed your microbes, attract the worms, and stand back as nature rebuilds your garden from the inside out. If this video helped you, subscribe to Soil Story and share it with another gardener who might need a little hope for their own soil. Together, we can grow incredible gardens that thrive from the ground up.